Hola Madrid. Me encanta esta ciudad. Llevo un año aprendiendo español, pero no puedo impartir este taller en español. Como mi acento es terrible, continúo en inglés. You have no idea how worried I was about that. Yes. Okay, so we are here to talk about advanced custom elements techniques. And we have an agenda. Just a couple of slides before we get into the meat. So these are the things we're going to cover today. Why are we here? What will we take away? And the show and tell. That's the fun part. So, first up, if you didn't already know, I love custom elements. They're really great. They're framework agnostic. They're standard web components, so they have no real binding to Liferay whatsoever. And they're reusable across projects. So they're super convenient. But they have some bad parts. They require a developer, not your content creators. They're certainly not page creator friendly because there's no configuration options. There's no way for them to really control them the way they would a custom fragment or an out-of-the-box fragment. And in addition, they don't have access to some Liferay context that you need. Internationalization support, permission checking, you name it, what you have available on the server side, because it's a custom element running in the browser, it doesn't have access to those details. And oftentimes we need it to. So why are we here? To eliminate some of the bad parts. So what are we going to take away? First, JS import maps are necessary for wrapping our custom elements. We'll see that shortly. We want to wrap custom elements with custom fragments. These are going to give us the page creator controls that they need with the custom elements. And finally, we're going to be leveraging FreeMarker with our custom fragment to enhance the experience. So, show and tell setup. Now, this is entirely up to you. I'm going to be doing the work up here so you can just follow along, or you can do it right now. This is the repo URL, and it has a bundle ready to go. In fact, what it has in it, it's a complete Liferay Gradle workspace. It has a Liferay developer license in there, good to the end of the year. So you'll be able to start up DXP even if you're not a DXP customer at the moment. It has a pre-populated database and configuration ready. All you have to do is init the bundle, and that's going to put everything in place. And it has some pre-built custom elements, because our focus today is going to be how we're going to make those better than what they initially are. The login information in the instance is up here, DevCon admin, and learn DevCon are the passwords. And I do have some USB drives if you want to copy off here rather than doing the download. So now it's time for the show and tell part. So, I already have Liferay running, but the first part that I want to cover is what we're working with today. So, I have a number of pre-built custom elements that are deployed into the environment. They are 4 lit-based custom elements. Now you might ask, Dave, I didn't know you learned lit. How often have you been coding lit? And I would tell you I have never done lit programming. ChatGPT, though, they do a lot of lit programming. And I'm telling you, they know how to create standard web components. And that's one of the reasons why I love standard web components, because that can springboard the development of your components or your applications, whatever you need. So I have these 4 custom elements, and my plan is to use custom fragments to enhance them, to make them better. But to make that easy, the first thing I need is the JS import map. And I have that in here right at the top of my client extension YAML file. It defines what my JS import map is, what the name is going to be that they're going to be imported as, and it's going to make them easy for me to reference those when I'm building the fragment. Anyone want to see some lit code? We can pull that up if you're interested. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. All right, so now I'm going to sign in. And assuming I got that right, yep. Go away. There we go. Now, the first thing that I wanted to call out was, I mentioned FreeMarker. And FreeMarker is important from the fragment perspective, because all of our fragments will come with a FreeMarker context. And that's really the key part here for our fragments, is we want to take advantage of that FreeMarker, because FreeMarker is server side. So it has access to all of those things that we need that we want to pass over to our custom element. And what it doesn't have, we can supply by creating a template context contributor as an OSGI component that we can use in PaaS or we can use in self-hosted. We can't use it in SaaS, have to say that, but we can use it in the other 2 deployments. So if there's something missing, like you want to be able to check if the user has a specific role, or you want to do some more detailed permission checks, or something that is not included in the context, then you're going to use a template context contributor to inject that into the FreeMarker context. But as you can kind of see, you get a lot of things with just what is in the context out of the box. And we don't do a great job about advertising what these things are. But there's access to the request, all the request details. The theme display object is listed in here somewhere. So there's a long list of things on here. Here's the theme display object. I don't have it extended, but all the details that are bound in with the theme display in the LifeRay server side, you have access to in the FreeMarker context. Now this is a pre-created page that's going to be available when you start up the bundle. But the component itself that's doing this was actually created by my friend Olaf. Everybody knows Olaf. But he created this to dump the FreeMarker context information, and I just kind of picked it from him in order to use it to show you the details today. But what we're going to be doing is working with our 4 custom elements. And they are a 3D hero, a Lottie call to action, a particles hero, and a tilt carousel. So when I was telling ChatGPT, I said, I want to create custom elements that have some eye candy, have some wow factor, because I'm doing a presentation and I want to make people to think that I really know lit really well. And it did that. So we're going to see some really cool examples here. But this is another part of the workspace. I call this the Fragment Lab, but it's a custom lit application, again, created by our friend ChatGPT, but with some different capabilities. In the back end, I have an object which defines all of these things about a fragment, and the application itself is just rendering these details. So what we're going to be doing today is creating custom fragments for these elements, and we'll just get started. It also includes all the instructions here that you might need. And now I have to put on my glasses so I can see and not make a total fool of myself. So I'm going to duplicate this tab. And I'm going to start creating some fragments. Oh, that's my fragment detail, fragments. So I'm here in my DevCon folder, and I'm going to define a new fragment, basic fragment, and I'm going to call this guy the 3D hero. Now, if you've never been in the custom fragment editor before, this is the great panel that you get here. There's two tabs at the top, code and configuration. Code we'll look at next, but we're going to start in configuration. The code panel has three sections where we're going to fill in the details of the fragment. The configuration, though, this one is really very useful to enable the configuration for your front-end page developers. So over here, my 3D hero, this guy already has some configuration to copy. So I'm going to grab that and drop it over here. Now these are actually definitions for configuration attributes. So we'll see them shortly, but there are 6 attributes that we can define for our custom fragment. And now I'm going to copy in the rest of the code. I have one line of JavaScript. This is the import of our components using the JS import map. So I'll just paste that in over here. I have my HTML free marker section. That's going to go up in this section. And I have no CSS, but I'll make sure that the class name lines up. So I didn't really go into details here a lot about what's in the HTML side, but as you can see, it is free marker. So effectively what I'm doing here is I'm doing some language util, so this is some internationalization lookup on keys. I am pulling values from the configuration, which is going to allow the page creator to control what they're seeing. And I am then using those with the DevCon 3D hero element and passing those in as details. So this is how I'm going to tie the two of them together. And now I can publish this fragment, and I'm going to create a page so we can see what it looks like. We'll call it 3D hero. And on this side, I'm going to first drop a container in because I always like containers with margins so that I stay away from the edges. And now I'm going to search for my 3D hero. Now I do have 2 options that came up here. The first was the client extension shown below. That's going to be my raw custom element. That's not the one that I want to use. It's going to be here, but it's not going to be the friendly one. The one I want to use is 3D Hero. Now over here on the right-hand side, this is the configuration stuff. This is the part that is going to give your page creators control over the custom elements. Now there are things that I have to fill in here. The model URL. And I have those details in the notes. Okay, from the four of them, somebody pick one. Cats. All right, cats it is. I like that one. So I'm going to put in the URL in here. I don't need a poster image. Let's call this testing fragments. And there we go. We can see it's already kind of working. It's pulled up our hero. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And then we'll go and look at the page. And there it is. And this is interactive. So you can like spin them around and look at the cats. Ooh, wow. You know, eye candy, right? This is what everyone wants. But down here at the bottom, it's got to explore in 3D there. So it's not even doing any localization on that, but we can fix that. Explore in 3D. I can go over here to the control panel, language override. Explore in 3D. Oh, sorry, I just needed to create a new one. And I can give it a translation. With that, I can now return to my page. And there's my localization in there. So this is an example of how I'm using the international tools within Liferay to control the labels that are going on in my lit. I don't have to know about the lit way for doing internationalization. I don't really want to know the lit way of doing it because I want to be able to go into the Liferay control panel and change that value and have it apply. I wanted to know about the languages, but I want to be able to control it. Well, I can do that this way. So that's our first fragment. But the benefits that we get are the controllability that we get for page creators. So, you know, I had a choice for 4 different images there. So it's not me, the developer, that's saying it's always going to be cats or castle or alien or whatever those others were. The page creator gets to decide, oh, on this page, I need to use the cats, but on the other page, I'm going to use the alien. So you give them the capability to use the fragment any way they need to. So let's go back to fragments and we'll work on the next one. And the next one is the Lottie call to action. Does everyone know what Lottie is? No? Apparently it's like a video format, but it's not defined like a video format. It supports Lottie and JSON extensions, so it's they're pretty interesting. I hadn't heard of them before ChatGPT created the element for me, and I had to ask it what that was for. So we have, with this one, some configuration. So I'm going to create a new fragment, a basic fragment, and I'll call it the Lottie CTA. And again, I'm going to paste in my configuration. And I have some code things that I have to copy. So I have my one line import of my JS import map. I have many lines of HTML free marker code. And again, there's no CSS for this one, but I'll make sure that the classes line up. So again, this one has free marker going on. It's doing some localization. It's grabbing a value from the theme display. It's using the permission checker and whatnot. And at the bottom, it's just including the tag with passing the attributes through. So I can publish this. And then I can create a page for it. I'm sorry? Does the fragment work in the widget page also? I think they're really only for content pages because they're fragments, and the widget is really only going to be for your portlets. So you would need to be using the content pages. So again, I have the page. I'm going to drop in a container, add some margins around the outside. And now I'm going to add in my Lottie CTA. Now again, this is all controllable by the items that I can do on the page. So it's giving the control to me, the page creator, not the custom element developer. So now I have some values I have to paste in. Okay, we have 5. Somebody pick one. Spaceship. And we'll leave CTA label text in there. And we could do a link to a page or wherever we wanted to go that's going to represent our call to action. So here's our spaceship guy and our button that goes along with it. And I'm going to give him, let's see, min height of, let's say 400. That's just. So here we have the not blown up image, but it should have been blown up. But that's a Lottie illustration. And it has my call to action button. Again, you know, CTA labeled text. That's not what I want to have. I want to have something in there. And I'm going to go in and set another language override. And there I've just changed the label. Again, as the page creator, as the person who's responsible for maintaining the page. I'm controlling the label. It doesn't have to be set inside of the custom element itself. So I don't have to call the developer and say, hey, I need you to change the label to Hola Madrid. I can take care of that myself. So now we'll move on to our third one. And this one is a little bit longer in the instructions, but we'll get through it. This one's the particle hero, and once again, I'm going to copy the configuration in. This one has quite a bit more configuration to it, but instead of having a field for a URL like I had in the last two, I'm now using a select with 3 different options. So I'm enforcing a little bit of restriction on the page creator. They're going to be able to pick from these 3 different styles. So I can have some control, but give them the flexibility to do what they need to with it. I have my JS import map that I have to import. I have my HTML that I have to copy. And this one does have some CSS that goes with it. And now I'll create a page to show them off. And again, I'm going to drop in a container, set some margins or padding. I should have a master page for that, really. And now I'm going to search for my particles. Right there he is. Okay, so this guy, over here on the style, I can see bubbles is the default, but I can change those. I also have the other input fields that can change as well. I think this is the one I like. Oh yeah, this is the nice one. But this one also takes advantage of LifeRay's ability to edit the fragments. So I can change this to Hola Madrid. And this is going to stick. So when I publish him and come back and look at him, it applies the hero. I can change the values that are displayed within it. So I have the control that I need in the display, but it is still completely managed by a custom element, which is driving all of this. Now we have one more, and we'll get through him pretty quick. That is the tilt carousel. And he has some configuration and some code to copy in. I have the one-line import from the JS import map. I have the HTML free marker code to copy in. And I don't think he has any CSS. No. All right, so tilt carousel is published, so now I need a page. And I need my fragment. Now this one was kind of fun with the configuration. His instructions are a little bit more detailed. 300. Drop an image. Yes, he has a drop zone. So with him, I'm going to drop an image on the page. And I'm going to set 300 and 300 for the details. And image size, I want to choose fit. And for my image, I am going to select one that I have already deployed. And I'm going to drop another image in. And let me drop a third one in there while I'm at it. Oh, he didn't copy. That's all right. All right, so I have my 3 images, but I don't want them all to be the same image, so I'm going to change. He gets number 2, and this one. Number 3, and let me add a paragraph. Drag it. And I have paragraph text to copy in. So my paragraph is ready, but I don't need him out here. I need him inside of the drop zone. Maybe I need him inside the drop zone. There he goes. Okay, so I have custom element inside a custom fragment with a drop zone with 3 images and some text. Let me check out here. 4,912. I think I needed that to be higher. All right. Let's see how this looks. Is it going to work? There it goes. So you get this little tilt slide off to the side there. So it's, again, eye candy. But the important part is my fragment is, my custom element is built in a way that I, as the page creator, have control over it. I can put whatever I want into the drop zone, and it's going to apply this kind of effect when it's sliding it on and off the display. So we combine the capabilities and power of custom elements and whatever framework that we're using that we're taking advantage of, combining that with a custom fragment to enable our page creators to have control over everything that happens with the element. And that's really the point of all of the advanced custom elements. So what did we just see? We saw the JS import map is defined with the custom element in the client extension YAML file. And we need that because it makes it easier to use our custom elements when we're wrapping those as fragments. We wrapped the elements in a custom fragment so that we could take advantage of liferay context. We could take advantage of being able to define configuration, being able to have drop zones, being able to take advantage of the internationalization, all of those capabilities that liferay server side has that our custom element is not going to have access to on its own. And we also briefly saw how the free marker use is going to be the glue that ties all of this together. That's the important part. That's going to be the part where we're going to be accessing that liferay context and passing it over to the custom element. So when you all go back to your regular day jobs, hopefully not tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow you're at the unconference. Friday or Monday, when you go back to your day jobs and you do this, but you get stuck, what are you going to do? We have plenty of resources to help. First, there's the repo. So you can go to the repo and check it out yourself. Maybe have just something a little bit off, and this will clue you in on it. You could go to discuss.liferay.com and you could post your issue there. And myself or Olaf or one of the other great teammates that I have at Liferay will see your question and they will help you because that's what we all want to do. You could join the community Slack and you get kind of, I don't want to say live talk with us, but you get sometimes live talk, depending on if we're available or not. You can go to dev.liferay.com in order to get details for joining the community Slack. Every other Tuesday, I host an Ask Me Anything session. Normally, I host 2 of those on the Tuesday, but I haven't been doing the late one for me because it conflicts with my Spanish class, which is more important, obviously. But in the Ask Me Anything session, you can come and ask anything Liferay, or you can just come and talk, say hi. I love that too. But you can pop in, and if you have questions about custom elements or anything Liferay, I'm more than happy to help. Obviously, there are a few blogs out on liferay.dev. I think there's a couple. Some of them are popular. We have extensive courses on learn.liferay.com, including ones now for front-end developers that include specialized courses and lessons on things with custom elements and custom fragments and some of the things that we've seen here today. Thanks. I don't know how we're doing on time. Are we on time or off time? Or because I can do questions if I have 10 minutes. Great. So now we have time for questions. This is a live Ask Me Anything session. Hopefully I can answer. Yes, sir. So the JS import map it's a standard thing, right? It is not anything specific to LifeRay. It's how you can generally define modules that the browser will be able to process and load in at runtime dynamically. So we used to have the LifeRay AMD loader for loading modules. It was a wicked, nasty custom thing that we did that worked for a long time, but we eventually got rid of it and instead went with the standard. And the JS import map is how you take advantage of that. Yes, there is a stanza, and I showed it briefly. I can show it now again. There is a stanza that is in the client extension YAML file. It's up here at the top. So it's devcon elements was what I called my JavaScript import map. There's a bare specifier, which again is the same name, and then friendly name and the path to the assets. But that defines your thing so that you can then go, like we did in the fragment, and just import and then this name. And that allowed the magic all to happen. There's a lot more details in how those actually work, which I never really get into because it just works. So it's really nice. You take advantage of it, but you don't have to be an expert at it. It's a good idea. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it still inside the custom element? Because as it's JavaScript, normally it's a bit hard to add I don't think in the context of JavaScript rendering, you can really add the data LifeRay editable element for this.
Let me show you the fragment. And that was particle hero. So the particle hero has a whole bunch of free marker variables that it's setting, and based on the selection of the switch, you get different values. But the important part for you is I have the embedded part that has the specific attributes that the LifeRay page editor looks for to enable the fields. Now these get passed into your custom element as part of the shadow DOM. So whatever you have in here, you have to be responsible for rendering it in the page. So even though it shows up really simply in here, there's magic going on in the custom element to use those details from the shadow DOM and represent it in the generated HTML for the page. But the important part is I have it listed over here, and that's what gets passed through. It's the same kind of thing that I did with the tilt carousel, except that one has a drop zone defined in there so that I can drop whatever I need. And again, the custom element is taking those details from the shadow DOM and representing them appropriately in the generated HTML. Okay? Yep. Don't ask for any more.
No more
I'm getting the hook.
So sorry, guys.
Thank you all for coming. Talk to you again soon.